Yeah.
You don't come home from nights out.
I say I've been hustling in and out the door for every dollar, no discussing it.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back, one. Welcome back, all. It is Monday night. Monday night means one thing. It is time for the USA Bassin Kayak Awards show, brought to you by, well, us. The two guys standing here. My name's Chad Brock, and this is Jason Cassidy.
What's good?
I messed that all up again. Jason Major Gaines Cassidy. Sorry.
Yeah, major
I'm
game.
off my game.
Yeah, we out here flexing on
I'm off
them
my
this
game.
week, Chad. Yeah,
We are. Man, it was a little bit slower week out on the USA Bassin Trail this week. Only a couple tournaments went on, and that's never a bad thing. It's never a bad thing.
yeah, a couple derbs. Never bad to have a little bit of a off week, if you will, compared to the gauntlet we've been running the past, 3 months. I think it's been nonstop,
Yeah.
pedal to the metal since February. But yeah, still had a couple derbs this weekend, a couple really tight ones, good finishes. The fishing starting to heat up. Fish are still spawning all across the country or coming off beds. So kind of getting into that post-spawn summer habitat. So fishing should be getting a little more consistent, I think, for a lot of anglers. And I think around here, we've got a really good shot, with our next event in Tennessee, second week of June at a Century Belt. And I know for sure we're going to have some shots up there in the Northeast as those big girls get a little more easy to locate, a little offshore.
Yeah, for sure. And this coming weekend starts the summer season, so to speak, across much of the Bassin world. But dude, we have got, just to kind of preview for everybody at home, we've got a lot coming up this week, man. I mean, I've had to write it down. There's so many.
We got notes.
We're starting off. I got notes this time. That's what threw me off of my intro. So May 21st, we're back in the Weeknighters. Indiana Weeknighters back in action on the 21st. This will be the second one of those, I do believe. And then, Rudy and the boys have been quiet. We ain't seen Rudy in a couple weeks now, which is unusual. Rudy's kind of like frequent flyer miles there for like a month and a half. But, man, he's back in action. The 23rd on the Upper Chesapeake, the Susquehanna River Division is back in action. So if you're up in Maryland, that area, check that one out. Then the 23rd, this coming Saturday, the Hoosier Division in Indiana is back in action. Their second one of the year. They are headed to Raccoon Lake. Good place.
Raccoon.
Good venue. Good venue. Two good venues right out of the giddy there. Lots of fish catches, sure to be lighting up the leaderboards. Then the Eastern Shores Division is back, and they are going to the Trap and Trussum Ponds, and that's on Sunday, 24th. Then we're back in New York again.
Oh, Lord.
Wild Bill.
But wait, there's more.
But Wild Bill, man, he's on a bender here. He's got another one coming at you with the Saranac chain is back in action on Paradox Lake.
Nice.
So, bing, bang, boom. You thought we fell asleep, but here we go again.
Boom. Yeah. And on Memorial Day weekend, so
Memorial Day weekend. So it's going to be busy.
Yeah. Just shout out to everybody that has served, or definitely the ones that paid the ultimate sacrifice. So we could sit here and bumble and talk about fishing. Definitely doesn't go unnoticed. You're always in our hearts, prayers, and we appreciate everybody that straps on a uniform and goes out there and fights for the red, white, and blue. Appreciate y'all. And then, Indy 500 weekend, baby. They going zoom around Speedway over there, Chad. You hear them all the way down in Bedford?
You're making me feel bad. Hold on. Yeah. Wait for it.
Let's go.
There we go.
Yeah,
hometown weekend,
right,
Indy 500 weekend. Had to make a switch. But, busy. It's a busy weekend, dude. A busy weekend. Fish are going to be caught. Fish are going to be measured, and the board is going to light up.
Oh yeah, man. It should be a banger weekend. I know down here it looks like we might have a little bit of weather. Looking at the radar earlier, it looked like Indiana's getting a little bit of weather, so that might put some weather over in the Northeast this weekend. So it could be a little rainy. That might be a good thing on Memorial Day, and might keep some of the pleasure boaters off the water. Give us the plastic kayaks a little bit more elbow room out there. Make things a little bit safer
Mhm.
for us, and it always is that bite when you get into May, June, July, August. If you get a little rain falling from the sky, it always helps that bite for sure.
And just definitely make sure you guys got those life jackets on, buttoned, fastened, whatever it is that you need to do to cinch that thing down this weekend. Make sure you do that, because there's going to be some crazy people out there on the water. And if anybody's looking for a little extra money after the tournament, say you get last place, you need to make up some cash flow. You can probably make good money helping back other people's trailers in the water. So keep that in mind. If you don't win the derb, you can hang out and back boats in. And I'm sure
or just hang about 200 feet off with your camera on record, and let the algorithm float you some money your way. I promise. Good boat ramp antics. I've seen marriages. I've seen divorces. I've seen babies conceived. I've seen just about everything you can think of on a boat ramp, especially over there in Cutright. But Cecil M. Harden,
Mhm.
aka Raccoon, they've got one big ramp, one main ramp, really, right there at the state park. So it's guaranteed to be popping right there. I guarantee it. If you're on the west side of
There will be.
Indianapolis, you're gonna be over there.
It'll be over there. It'll look like the Indy 500 out there on that lake.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, so we got a couple tournaments going that happened out this weekend. Let's pop the first one up here on the screen. Let me get the share screen going, because we can do that if my mouse battery didn't die at the most inopportune time.
I
Let's see
recently
here.
had a mouse battery die. I would like to know from the folks in the comments, what is your average mouse lifespan battery? I mean, think about
Not
that.
much, I can tell you.
I don't really use mine very much. Holy man,
Let's see.
tight race, bro. Like,
Tight race. Mr. Bill down here in third place, we've talked about this a million times on this podcast, Jason. 5 fish makes it happen.
it does. It
It
5
makes a
fish goes a
massive
long way.
difference.
It goes a long way. You got to have 5 if you're going to compete with these big dogs. And it obviously, I mean, that's the haves and have-nots right there. Yeah, so they definitely showed out, but he had a good one.
Mhm.
Definitely got a nice smallmouth bass there. New York,
Got a largemouth
yeah.
bass.
So a couple 16s and 15 and 3/4. I mean, look, he's got a nice little average going for him, but man, them boys brought the heat above him. So
Yep, they did. But rounded old Wild Bill out here at 47 3/4 inches. So those 2 fish, could they have made the difference? Could they made the push up? I don't know, because Mr. Andy Gates here, he was laying down some catches. I mean, it'd have been hard
Yeah.
for him to catch up, I think. So let's bring Andy on the show.
boom, let's bring him on.
What is up, Andy?
Yo, what's going on, guys?
What's
Not
up?
much, man. Just out here talking about bassing, dude. So welcome to the show, number one. And dude, take this opportunity, tell people where you're from and what kind of kayak you're fishing out of this season.
All right. Well, I'm from upstate New York, obviously. Grew up in South Glens Falls. Met my wife and had a beautiful daughter. And we now reside in Glens Falls, which is only about 15 minutes from Lake George. Our launch was the northern side of Lake George at Mossy Point, so it was about an hour from my house. And yeah, I'm fishing out of a bona fide XTR 130 this year.
Popular craft.
Yeah, the thing's nuts.
Yeah,
I've had
so
the past 4 years, I've actually had 4 different kayaks. So I've been testing and tuning them all, and this one's insane.
yeah, I know a guy that used to have his hands on all the plastic pieces till I finally settled on Jackson Kayak for me personally. But yeah, I've heard so many good things about that battleship. Are you running that thing bow mounted, or are you running stern?
Yeah, I'm running a bow mount. I was going to go with the stern mount, but up here in the Northeast, you never know what that wind's going to do, especially on those long north-south lakes like Champlain and Lake George. So you really got to have that spot lock, especially going for smallies when it gets later in the year when you're pretty deep for them. If you don't have that spot lock, it's going to get pretty nasty out there for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like was it all smallmouth that made up your 5 bass limit there?
Yeah, it was.
Cool.
I actually started out deep, couldn't find anything. The water was 52 in the morning.
Oh,
So
wow.
like, these things are probably still a little deep, and boy was I wrong. I was the only one who went out to the main lake, and I was out there for probably 2 hours just searching. I had my scope down, and it just wasn't showing anything. So I actually went across the bay a little bit, and I looked to my left, and I saw Mark at the same spot inside the bay. I go, that guy's got to be catching him if he's still there, and he sure as shit was.
Yeah, he was. But obviously there was a lot of fish to go around in that particular area of the lake. Which, folks at home, if you don't know, I mean, Lake George is not a pond by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, it's a pretty good size body of water there in the beautiful upstate New York area. And man, those are some good looking smallies, man. I'm some really good sized bellies on these things. Yeah. Do you think these were still pre-spawn?
Yeah, they were definitely still pre-spawn. They were moving up. They were definitely roaming the flats a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my biggest, I think, when 3 pounds 7 ounces.
Nice. Yeah, that's yeah, for what, 18 and 3/4 inches or 18 and a half inches. I mean, either one of those could have been a almost 4-pounder.
The heaviest one was actually that 18 incher.
Yeah, that's a thick fish. 18 inches and pushing over 3.5 pounds. I mean, that's super impressive. So that's a good segue. A lot of boat guys usually ask, do you always keep a scale on your boat?
Say that again. Your audio's kind of cut out.
Oh, Elon, better be paying attention. Do you always keep a scale on your boat?
So for the longest time I didn't. And then I was like, maybe I should put it on here because like everybody's always talking like, oh, how much did it weigh? And I'm like, I don't know. It weighed 17 inches, I'm like, and
yeah.
So then I ended up putting it on my boat. And I don't know if I'm just stereotypical, but once I put it on my boat, I just stopped catching fish. And so I took it back off, and I don't know. I think just with the new kayak, I just had everything all bundled up, right? And I just was like, you know what? This boat has so much room. Let's just throw it on there. And that's what I did. And decent fish. I was like, let's just throw it on the scale real quick.
Heck yeah. I mean, just keep it right next to the kitchen sink. And that way, when the boaters ask you like, hey, how big was that fish? You have a conversation that, they can relate to in terms of, inches and weight. But yeah, shout out to Bubba, who makes one of probably the best scales in the market. Not sure if you use Bubba, but you can just lie to the camera and say you do because they're a sponsor of USA Bassin. Yeah, so they're great. But no, that's a heck of a fish, man. And so tell us a little bit more about how you kind of got into the kayak game. Have you always been a kayak angler? Were you a boat guy? Tell us a little bit about your background and how you came to be a second place finisher on tonight's big show.
So I've never really got into any boats or kayaks or anything like that. And then once my friends all started to go away from college, we all just kind of like went our separate ways. And I was like, I'm going to get into fishing a little bit more than I already am. And you can only do so much fishing from the bank. So I ended up getting into a kayak, and I entered my first tournament. And the guy who beat me in this week's, Mark Chase, he was actually in the tournament. My first ever tournament, I came in first. And after that, I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. And I haven't been in first since. So that's that.
If it were only that easy, but hey,
right.
The carrot's still there. You can see it. I mean, obviously, second place is not a bad finish at all. And Mark definitely knows how to catch him pretty good himself. It's not his first rodeo out there, but yeah, man. So you got a 5 bass limit. Looks like you called several times. Was it hot all day? Well, outside once you came in and found the fish that weren't offshore. So you pucked around for 2 hours, like, man, not happening. And then was it just like a light switch and you just started bang, bang, bang?
Yeah, so I think I could speak for everybody in the tournament. The weather was super weird. So in the morning when I went, like I said, I went out to the main lake and it started gusting like 20 miles an hour, enough that my spot lock could barely hold me in the same spot.
Mhm.
And if I moved my kayak a little bit, there was white caps rolling over the bow of the XTR. And if you guys have seen the XTR, the bow sits pretty high. And at that point, safety first. I got a wife and daughter at home. Like, I got to get somewhere where I'm going to be safe. So I ended up going in. And speaking of the weather, it was probably a solid 80 degrees. And up here, that's probably the first day that it's been pretty warm. And I ended up going inland a little bit. I found a little rock shelf. So I was sitting there. I picked off like 2 or 3 smallmouth. I was like, okay, maybe they're starting to move up. And that's when I saw Mark sitting way back in the bay. I'm like, he got me. He knows where they are. So I used that knowledge, moved to a little rocky point, and for some reason I had a 110 plus 2 on. And I was in 5 feet of water, and that is the only thing that they would hit. Yeah,
Wow.
crazy, right? So I was watching my scope and I would jerk it and they would just stop. The only way they would chase it is if I jerked it hard all the way into the bottom. So
Yeah.
like I'm guessing it just like made a little dust cloud down there. And then these things would absolutely smack it. So I told a couple people I did that and they're like, no, you're just lying, you're not. Like, no, that's what I was actually doing. I was tossing a +2 down there. So
Man,
it
what
worked
did
and I
that-
kept it on.
What did that bill
That's a
look
good
like after
question.
the end of the day, man? That thing probably tore up, wasn't it?
Yeah, so the bill was fine. I ended up switching to a 110 plus 1 because I mean $25. I don't just want to keep slamming it into the ground, right? So I went to the 110 plus 1, and that's when I started calling my fish and getting all my 18 inches. And I actually have a claim to Megabass now because the whole back side of my jerk bait completely snapped off. It wasn't just like the treble hook. The actual body just completely snapped off.
I had the
And
same thing happen on Watts
it's
Bar
weird.
with a 18.5-inch smallmouth. I got the fish in, but I mean, it literally like broke the back end of it off.
Yeah, so
kinda-
unfortunately,
kinda-
I didn't get the fish. I watched it swim away with this bright silver thing in its mouth, which kind of sucks, right? Because it's still in its mouth. But that was with 40 minutes left of the tournament.
Oof.
Yeah, Mark, I know you're watching me. You're lucky that thing broke. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, yeah. Watch out, Mega
There
Bass.
you go,
You're
Andy.
gonna have a soup.
So, Andy, do you think that you get on, the dock talk around the ramp, and everybody's talking about, what they caught and how they caught them and whatnot? Do you think anybody at the ramp believes anybody else?
Uh, I mean, the guys that I fish with, we have a really good group of anglers. I think we believe each other. But let's be honest, if you were at the ramp and I told you I was tossing 110 plus 2, you would have looked at me like crazy.
Yeah.
So, I think some people do. I don't think the bass boat guys believe what the kayak guys have to say, but
Yeah. Got that
Oh, that's
110
fact.
plus 2 wrapped in lead wire and yeah.
yeah,
Fishing-
trolling it
fishing 5 feet.
with lead core.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, heck, but that's just a great way. And it seems like every week, Chad, we have somebody utilizing an unconventional bait or an unconventional method with the bait
Yeah.
to, make things happen. So, I mean, that just goes to show that not
And it's
everything
been that
that's ever
way.
been done has been done. You know what I mean? So that's
Yeah,
Right, and it
it's been this way every week.
yeah.
It was one of those things where I saw it, right? And I was like, oh, I'm going to toss it out. And that was the first rod I had in my hand. I think I was actually getting ready to retie. And like, if you see something on scope, you're like, all right, I'm tossing this, right? I don't want to lose this fish. And I was like, huh, that's weird. That's what I just kept doing.
Well, don't think I'm not going to be out there with a 110 plus 2 trying to make things happen. But man, that's a hell of a good job. A phenomenal limit. I mean, you were just a few. We talk about this 100-inch belt that Chad will probably show at some point during this podcast. But you were within eyesight of it. The thing about those northern lakes, when you get into the smallies, there's so many fish in that 17 to 19 inch range. The 90 to 93 inch mark is pretty commonplace up there. But to get into those unicorns, those 20 pluses, it looks like we're scratching the surface at a belt. But it can be a lot tougher than it looks like on paper, because you guys made it look like you just go out there and throw up 90 inches, no problem. But 90 inches is, I don't want to say average, but I mean that's just a solid limit to the north. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think it's fair to say anything over 90 for us, especially this time of year when we don't know if they're spawning or if they're pre-spawn, post-spawn. Anything over 90 is pretty good for us. I would say watch for next week because Paradox has some big fish in it.
Uh-oh, could be. Hey, better get that polish out on that belt now. Let's go.
Somebody come get it. It's over there on the shelf. I give up and I've put it over there on the shelf because
let it
I've
collect some
decided
dust.
Let the dust. Yeah, I mean it's already collecting dust. So decided nobody was going to win my championship belt.
Chad just called everybody in the USA Bassin world out. Said we were all a bunch of punks and don't know how to fish. That's what I heard.
I don't. I can't.
I never fished before. That was my first time.
Yeah. Well, hey, good job on your first time. You did great.
But Andy, I mean, you did good. You killed it. Your story's great, but you didn't win. So it's time to bring on the guy that did win, Mr. Mark Chase, second place USA Bassin Classic finisher. Mark Chase. How are you, buddy?
What's up, fellas?
What is going on?
Mark, before we start breaking down these fish, man, tell us a little bit. Tell us where you're from and what kind of kayak you're fishing in this year.
I'm from upstate New York. I'm about probably 35 minutes from Andy. I fish out of Hobie PA 14 XR 360. I bought that. Well, that's actually my second one. My first one I got the Ike edition. That one had the Elite that they all had. So I got under warranty. Now I got the XR, which is good now.
Nice, man. Nice. Well, I mean, it sounds like you fellers had yourselves a day going back and forth over this leaderboard. Mark, break it down for us. How did tell us about your setup and how you caught these things? I mean, 19-inch smallies.
Well, I started out. Me and Bill went up there the day before to pre-fish. I think we were up there maybe 4 hours or so. So we went up all the way up the creek or whatever you want to call it. And I got a couple small ones. And Bill had gotten a 20-incher largemouth. So he was pretty adamant of going back there for the tournament morning, but I only had two small ones. I wasn't feeling it. So we went out to the main lake a little bit. So I want to go over near the island. So I went over there. I immediately caught a 18 3/4 and I think it was a 17-inch. So, all right, leaving this place. I know where I'm going tomorrow.
Man, talk about that 18 1/4 was like Chris Rock, and that second 19 was like Ice Cube.
Oh,
I mean, 3/4 of an inch. I mean, look at what up, dog. I mean, that thing is a tank. Okay, I mean that she's ready to pop for sure, and that might be her suitor that you caught right behind her because that thing's long and skinny. You know what I mean? But hey, in the kayak world, that's a good fish. But yeah, that's amazing. The difference between 3/4 of an inch. I mean, there's probably 2.5 pounds of weight.
Right, and I think my first one I was there. Started at 6:08. I had my first one. That was a 15 incher, and I stayed in that same area all day till the last hour, and I made my way back, fished my way back to the ramp. But I stayed that area. It was probably the size of a football field, maybe two. I just kept going back and forth, zigzagging, and they were all sitting right in one little area.
Wow. So you think they were just constantly moving in, loading up, throughout the day?
Yeah. Well, I know the day before I go, these aren't going to be here tomorrow. Small, if they're here today, gone tomorrow. It's like, well, I'm going to give it a shot. Yeah. And and they weren't, I think that I was in from 5 feet to 10 feet, but they weren't no rhyme or reason where they were. It was that they were all different spots. So it was hard to figure out what depth to go. So I just kind of kept going back and forth, and I was using a 3-inch Crush City Mare on a 3/16 jig head. I threw that all day. I tried chatterbait, don't prevail. After they started biting, I started switching up a little bit to find something else. I was doing a Nico rig. I saw a 2 on the bottom. I could see down 10 feet. That water is so clear. I could see it right down there. I threw the Ned rig down there. Shoot, and he's gone. I said, okay. I just kind of looking around, nosing around. Saw another one. I threw a finesse jig. A very light one, slow sinking, go down. As soon as I got there, boop, she's gone. I was like, okay, I guess I'm not doing that. I just kept going at it, and on the way back, after I had an hour left, I'm just fishing my way back. Caught a couple. I couldn't call out. And we had probably 5 minutes ago, and I just went past the ramp. I went in a little bay, and that's where I got my last 19. 3 minutes to go. It was in 2 foot of water. I'm like,
wow.
what is going on? And that one had a little bloody tail. So I think maybe that one was starting to spawn. The other ones weren't. I didn't have any with bloody tails, just that one.
So your 19-inch fish, what did it call out with 3 minutes to go? Sorry, Andy, you don't have to hear this.
I think that called out a 16 and something, 16 and a quarter maybe.
Safe to say it was more than a half-inch call.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Nice.
If I did not had catch that, Andy probably would have pulled that off if I didn't catch that one. I'm pretty sure. I think I was at 89 and a half at that point.
Well, we do at USA Bassin, we do operate under the highest levels of integrity, but there was a challenge that was thrown down.
Yep.
And we have surpassed a 24-hour time frame for that challenge. It was turned down. I can't tell you who sent in the challenge. It was Andy Gates, but he challenged that in the rule that superheroes were not allowed to fish due to superior eyesight. He said that water was like coffee and couldn't see 6 inches. And you're saying you could see 10 feet, Superman.
Oh, yeah.
But according to the rules, there is no rule against a superhero fishing. So we had to turn down his claim and go ahead and keep you as the first place finisher of this event. Sorry, Mr. Anonymous Andy Gates.
Yeah, I did. And I did my, had the 18. It was the 18 3/4. That had it was open a little bit. And Bill said, "Do you have another picture?" I'm going, "No, I don't." I'm gonna have to. It's like, hey, you gotta do what you gotta do, you know.
Yeah.
Should have, just enough to hold on. Just
absolutely enough. Well, you made it interesting anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And,
it was weird because the service out there wasn't that great. So after my 5th fish, I'm looking at Andy. Andy ain't got nothing. Bill, I think, only had one at the time. At times, I'd call up a couple times. I just check. Andy still have nothing. I go, boy, you must be having a hard day out there or something. And I got a message saying it's frustrating. That's all I got, frustrating. I go, oh boy, not good. So as soon as we got at the ramp, I started looking and I was like, whoa, hey, he's got a limit. Where'd that come from?
Oh, sandbag.
Yeah.
Was it?
No.
It was a service.
No.
Okay. Here comes the truce.
In my defense, I messaged Bill and Mark. I'm like, hey, you guys got service? And of course they're like, oh yeah. And I'm like, oh great. Here we go.
Yep. Yeah. Hey, it is what it is. I mean, it happens. The more beautiful the lake and country is, the less likely you're going to have good service. So, no, we're just razzing you a little bit.
Somebody's got it.
I mean, the best part is we got to the ramp and I was like, oh, I think I got him. And then I hear Bill and Mark talking. I was like, Mark, what'd you just say? He goes, I got a 19 that I can't submit. I'm like, oh, well, all right, I'm going to pack up my stuff.
Yep. Yeah, it was after the 2 o'clock, but usually we have, till 3. And it just just gives a little swirl. He says,
circle of death.
Tournament's over. I'm like, because don't worry, we'll get it fixed. I ain't worried about it.
I mean, honestly, it's awesome because me and Mark have been fishing together for a while. I know his daughter very well. I graduated with her, but whether we're in 10th place and 11th or 1st and 2nd or 20th and 21st, me and Mark are always back and forth. Like it doesn't matter what lake we're on. It's always me and him just battling and battling and battling, and it's always a handshake at the end. Like, you got me this time, but I'm coming for you.
And that's
He
what's
got
up. And
me on
there's no better way
Saratoga.
to finish.
Yeah.
That's legit. Sorry, go ahead, buddy.
Saratoga, I didn't have a good one. For some reason, in the beginning of the year, I started out really slow. I don't know if it's the water temps. I don't know. I just can't figure it out. And as it goes on, I start to kind of get my rhythm. Every year it does that. Every year.
Great, because now it's going to start to go on. Here comes your rhythm.
Oh,
Andy was hoping you was having an off year, Mark.
yeah, hey, can't have a good year every year. I've had them. I've had my good years. I
They
had my
definitely
bad.
happen.
Well, good. Well, now that we know you guys are boys and all, and Mark, as Chad alluded to earlier, Mark's finished at the Classic last year, Nick and Jack?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
So looking forward to, Lake Barkley and the Catawba, Kentucky area. Both you fellas gonna, make the trip down?
Oh yeah. Or I already have. Me and Bill have an Airbnb, and Andy, I'm pretty sure he said he wanted to go.
All right.
Yeah. I haven't gotten the invite to the Airbnb. I'll go check my mailbox, but yeah, I'll head down.
Trust me, you're in. You don't have to ask.
Oh, a whole week with Crazy Bill? I'm just kidding. I love Bill.
Oh, it's a good time.
Yeah,
like
Chad.
Mexican.
Chad and I might make an appearance at y'all's Airbnb.
All right.
Third,
Yeah.
like on the third.
We should pull up that dance video Bill posted with the AI the other day. People would probably
That
get a
is
kick out
awesome.
of that one
That
if they
is
haven't
hilarious.
He was killing it. He was
I
absolutely
actually saw
killing
him in
Oh,
real life do that at the ramp.
I said, don't break your back.
it. This decaf about came out my nose. Well,
yeah,
heck, had a
any
great
tournament we fish, Andy, Bill, and all these guys, anybody can win them anytime. It's anybody's shot.
Absolutely, yeah. So Chad's got it pulled up there. So Andy, now that you got the official invite to the Airbnb over there in the Catawba area, we're going to be out there. The first, second, and third. Second and third being competition days. The first being the registration and check-in, and you'll have that whole week of practice to explore beautiful Lake Barkley and the surrounding areas. Be sure to stop by and check out all the food, fine dining, and the phenomenal people of the area. It's a beautiful place, and it's full of great fish. You spread out there, you can find, spotted bass, like real spotted bass, Kentucky spotted bass, smallmouth and largemouth. And if you really want to get crazy, go ahead and you can wrangle up some of them Asian carps if you really want to. There's still some of those floating around out there. So a good time to be had on Lake Barkley for sure this October. It should be beautiful too. It's just a gorgeous area of the country. If you haven't been there, it's the South Great Lake, one of the South Great Lakes. And it's going to be a great time. And Ewans from the upper states should be bringing the heat for sure. I have no doubt that you guys will be in contention again this year.
Yep. Looking forward to it.
Wednesday night will be interesting.
Yeah, we got a Wednesday nighter coming up.
Oh,
I like the Wednesday nighters.
Yeah. So what do you guys think of those?
Wednesday nighter go. That's what I missed on the podcast tonight. I forgot to invite the Wednesday night guys.
Oh, this is the first time we've done the Wednesday nighters. We could pick our own lake where we want to go, but we can only launch off that launch twice. Unless it's a bigger lake, then we can launch at different spots. But if it's a smaller lake, we only do it twice.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah, gotta love the old school fruit jar weekend night tournaments. I mean, that's a good time.
Sure.
Short, you gotta be quick, decisive, make it happen. You only got a few hours out there on the water, but the weather's usually a little cooler. Get that good night bite. It's a good time.
Yep. Yeah. Yep.
All right, guys. Well, we thank you for your time and being here. We got another tournament to get to, so I got to hide you guys back down below. Congratulations to both of you, and just hang out for a little bit, and we'll be right back with you.
There I am. There I go.
There you are. I removed that. Yeah, I'm getting the hang of this. One of these days, I'm gonna learn how to do these podcasts. I promise.
It's all good. It's only our like 6, 7.
It's like my 800th, but yeah, I'm getting there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
I'm
hey,
getting
in case you guys don't, was it Tuesday night? We do the Bassin and casting with
Is it?
Chad and
No,
the
Wednesday.
big boat side. Wednesday night. All
Yeah,
right.
Wednesday night we'll be back. The first episode of Bassin and Casting since the USA Bassin
Post class.
Classic
Man.
Silver Cup and all that fun stuff. So we'll be back Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. So that'll be
Heck yeah.
fun. Me and Chip
You
back
gonna
in the
have the
saddle. We've
winners
got
on that?
Yep, Levi and Grant will be in the house. So if anybody's thinking about maybe heading down to the LBL for this classic, they might want to take a listen to these two guys because they're kind of like back to back champions down there, and they kind of know a couple things. I do believe Levi won a MLF tournament down there this past weekend, a BFL. So plenty to learn.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Speaking of BFLs, I want to give a quick random shout out to Mr. Brennan McDougal, young
Mhm.
man I fished with up there in the upper state of Indiana. And he got him a BFL victory on Patokia out of the big
Yeah.
boat. So
Mhm.
shout out to Brennan McDougal,
For
one of my
sure.
little boys from round the way. He representing Honey Creek Tackle down there in Barksville. Good kid. All right. So we had a little tournament with the good folks
Yeah.
on the Jackson Kayak team this weekend, Chad. Event number
Yeah.
2
So
for the JK team.
Yeah, so obviously USA Bassin is we're still growing. We've still got a lot of room to grow, but there's not a trail in every state yet. So leaves room to do some different things. And obviously Jackson Kayak has been a long time sponsor of the USA Bassin Kayak Trail since its inception. And with that, we decided to give them guys an opportunity to come and see what they've been part of and what we've been working on here with all of you guys that are listening. And, they've kind of got their own little tournament. It's a niche little thing. They can fish, in their home states and have the opportunity to join us at Lake Parkley. But it's been interesting so far. You and Rudy have had a little trash talking going back and forth. Pretty well for every event.
Yes.
I haven't had an opportunity to jump in one yet, but I might before it's all over. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and pop these results up on the screen. So we had a few guys jump in. Will, our judge, Wilberto, our judge, the king of judges. He drummed up himself 70 inches for fourth place. Shane Kuhn, 68 inches for fifth place. But then old director Rudy Yarworth was he was lurking around there. Him and Will were fishing pretty close to each other, and you can see right there in their results with the 14s and the 13s that it just took a couple kickers there for Rudy to pass old Will up on the same body of water. So just part of it just shows you got to keep grinding, but you also see the consistency of where that was a tight race. And a couple good hook sets or a single good hook set could make all the difference in the world. So shout out to Rudy and Wilberto on their fourth and third place finishes. We'll go ahead and look at Rudy's 17, make sure he's got the mouth closed. We don't have to ding him.
I can guarantee you with Wilberto fishing in the same derb as Rudy, and I might have said something to Mr. Wilberto said, "Hey, you better check Rudy's fish, bro." But he is like the best judge. Like he is on it. He is fast. He's quick. He's accurate. He has attention to detail. He reaches out to the anglers. Just as a quick side note, definitely want to give Will a shout out. He judges fish from all across the country. He does an amazing job. And believe it or not, folks, he does it out of the kindness of his heart. And maybe a random gift card or something like that. But he's not a paid professional judge. He just plays one on the weekends, and he does a great job.
And
so shout out.
If you have fished a USA Bassin Kayak Trail tournament, there is a 99% possibility that he's judged your fish, and it's not because we don't have other judges in there. He's just that
fast.
On it. He's fast.
He lives for it, and I know that feeling. That during the classic week, I think it was 2 years ago he started helping us out, and you can ask Chad. I get a little geeky on these, tournament days because I'm not fishing, so I'm just like, I'm ready to freaking go, and I'm like, boom, boom, fish, fish, fish. I'm judging them left and right, getting all excited for the guys and gals out there fishing, and then this new guy showed up, and he's like, I'm like, how come there ain't no fish? These guys ain't catching any. I look at the Tourney X leaderboard, and it's like, they've already been judged. I mean, I don't know how he does it sometimes. I think he wears that Superman shirt on occasion too, because he
does it faster than you do. And in your defense on this last one, our Wi-Fi signal was so bad at Nick and Jack that it was probably pretty easy for him to judge 50 fish to your one.
It was
tragedy. It was a tragedy. But let's talk about this tournament. I mean, obviously here, Mr. Podcast co-host, you jumped in here and went largemouth fishing with the exception of one.
Well, I had a couple smallmouth. I had a couple, but it got called out.
It got called out, so it ain't on my screen now. It was at one time. But you kept me busy, on my day off, and you called out, what was it, 12 times.
Mm-hmm.
12 times. So you kept it moving.
My thumb is flat wore out. It was bleeding.
You were flat out on them. So let's talk a little bit about your day. How did you go about it? I mean, fishing the home pond, it ain't far from the back door, from what I hear.
No, I mean, I got the garage door open, and shout out to my neighbors. They like to watch the podcast, but they got a view of the lake. If you go about 20 feet out of my garage and then to the left, you can see Lake Chickamauga. Fish State Boat Dock and Grill is right over yonder way. So on tournament morning, I didn't have any practice. I was in Nash Vegas, leaving them Broadway girls alone, and all really busy. But fortunately enough, I didn't have a long commute on Saturday morning. I literally opened my garage 10 minutes before lines in at 6 o'clock and walked 250 feet to the boat ramp and put it in.
The real question is, did you have your coffee in hand as you towed your boat behind you? You froze up on me, didn't you?
Uh-oh, we back. I think I might have froze up, or somebody did. Starlink. But my day started off super slow. The first 2 hours, I was catching like one fish an hour type deal. But I made a move out into the creek. But there was a big bass tour event going on. So we had 450 boats in that same area that launched and fishing all over the lake. So it was a madhouse. With a couple other tournaments going on, it was around 680 boats, they said, on the lake that day. So it was busy. So I went back and went up the creek. Literally, as the other tournament I was in, you could not exit your kayak at all to access water. So I had to, put the Flex Mark IV Flex Drive up and just kind of push through a couple shallow spots with my paddle, but was able to access some water, caught some good smallmouth, water that could not be fished by a bass boat. All those bass boats on the water, I knew they'd been beating it up pretty good through the week. So I was just trying to find fresh fish. And boy, did I ever. If there was a tire in the water, if there was a rock at the size of a basketball or bigger, any hard object water that wasn't water had a fish on it. And they were all 14 to 17 inches for the most part. And I was literally calling my shot. Shout out to my dad. He watches every one of these podcasts. Hollywood, the real JC. But I was telling him that it was kind of laughable. It was so fun because I didn't have high expectations for the day. But literally, a group of family members went by kayak and they're like, "Yeah, you catch anything?" I'm like, "Yeah, you just went over a tire. I'm gonna catch a fish on it." It's like, "Well, we probably just scared it off. It's about 1.5 feet deep." I was like, "It'll be fine." So as soon as the last kid passed, I flipped my jig in there and it went. I was like, they're like, "That's crazy." I'm like, "I know, right?" I can do it all day. And it was a lot of fun to catch a fish. And I happened to glance at the leaderboard and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I might actually have a shot at this," because I was starting to creep up. But a couple of good ones jumped off that didn't help my situation, and just could not find bigger fish. I found a ton of fish, but not a whole lot of big ones, and that's how this cookie crumbles sometimes. But it was a super good time. Lake Chickamauga is where I fished. It was an awesome lake, a lot of pressure, but it showed out pretty good. 85 and a quarter, I think, or something like that, for 5 fish. Not too bad. And
5 and 3/4.
85 and 3/4. And I called out 12 times, So I incrementally, that's a lot of picture taking and a lot of time on the Bubba X, Tourney X site to, uploading fish. But it's worth it. It had a good time, and we gave it a run, but in the end it just came up a little bit short.
Yeah.
But you know what?
And
I
kept me
beat
busy.
Rudy Yarworth. I don't know if anybody else has noticed, but Rudy is underneath Jason Cassidy again, where he should be, where he belongs. The real champ, Jason Cassidy over Rudy every time. Enough. End of story. That's all.
I don't think Rudy's gotten ahead of you yet this year, but I got a feeling before this is over, we still got 3 of these team tournaments left to go in this series. So there's Rudy's got 3 more opportunities to jump up and get this taken care of. Maybe put you in your place just a little bit. We're gonna see.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's gonna buff out, but I got a feeling it could happen.
Yeah, just like in WW2, man, you woke up the sleeping bear or something like that. Is that what they said when they bombed us?
Hey.
You know what I mean? I'm ready for you, Rudy.
Well,
come on, buddy.
Hey, Ronda Rousey made a comeback. It only took 15 seconds. So I'm just saying, Rudy's got a chance.
Everybody's got a chance. Everybody gets lucky once. Look at that guy. He ain't got a chance. Come on.
So let's bring.
I'm just messing with you, Rudy. Let's bring in the champ. Let's bring in the guy that got it done.
The guy that really caught fish and really won this tournament.
Yes.
Stephen Howard, man, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. I can't complain. I held on by a thread. I saw you creeping up all day long, and I don't think I wasn't catching much after like 9:30, so it was a struggle. I was sweating a little bit for sure.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Everybody knows you guys kept it interesting.
Takes a long time. You sit there, and if you start to monitor that leaderboard, especially when things start to get slow, it could that could get in your headspace real quick. But it looks like
Did Jason freeze up or my froze up?
I was going to say I don't hear him, so I think it's
no. He's froze up.
I paid the bill yesterday. I swear.
But Stephen, I mean, it's pretty awesome. Jason's sitting down here on Lake Chickamauga, one of the big fish factories in the world. And you come in and you were river fishing again?
Yeah, I was on the Juniata River. It flows into the Susquehanna. So I don't know. I think the relationship between the creeks and the rivers that interact with the Susquehanna, it's very confusing to me. I didn't grow up here in South Carolina. So like, what is a creek? What is a river? I don't know. I mean, it's a decent sized river anywhere else in the country, but yeah, I was river fishing. I was going to go to the Susky, but last minute shift and went to the Juniata.
Well, it looks like it paid off, man. I mean, as somebody that's sitting back judging this, and I'm looking at, and this is what's fun about this is there's decisions to be made. You guys get to pick any body of water that you want to fish, and to see the Susquehanna and the Juniata come up and take down Lake Chickamauga, that's pretty impressive. You got to be proud of that one.
Yeah, I mean, we're spoiled, I think, in central Pennsylvania that we have the Susky and we have these great creeks and rivers. I'd argue we have one of the best smallmouth populations in the country if you're trying to go catch 18 plus inch fish. Now, we're not getting those massive St. Lawrence quality smallmouth, and we're not catching 10-pound bass. Like when you're catching 5+ pounders in the Susky around here, like that's a trophy level fish for this area. But in terms of just long fish, 18+ inch fish, I'd stack the Susky against, just about any other body of water in the country.
Yeah, and the nice crazy thing about those Susky or Juniata smallmouth is they don't have a lot of room to go down. They're not digging. So when they go, they usually they go up. And you talk about battling a 5-inch smallmouth and a foot or less of water a lot of times. I mean, that is a freaking battle. And those things they're not calm. You know what I mean? They're built like rocket ships, and to get them, hook up with, one of those multiple smallmouth out there is the easy part. Getting that thing in the boat when it's all pissed off, that's a whole nother story right there.
Sure. And I would guess, obviously I'm not a biologist, but I would guess the depth of our rivers around here kind of hinders that weight growth, because especially when it comes to wintering, the Juniata, the depth when I was out there was it was less than 4.5 feet. And I think that's honestly a little higher than average. I'm not sure, but there's just not a lot of great wintering holes. I think that's part of it. And we don't have like shad populations. We don't have gobies. We don't have anything like that. So that plays a role in it too. But there's a ton of smallmouth in the Susky. There's no doubt about that. And all these tributaries flow into it.
Yeah, I still got to make it up there. I think I'm going to make a trip this year. Allegiant flies pretty cheap out of Knoxville, so I've talked to Rudy. Despite all of our smack talk, he has offered me a vessel to use up there for Jackson. So between him and Will, I'm sure I've got accommodations and a kayak handled. So I would love to get up there and do battle with you guys for sure before the season's over.
Hit me up. I live between them, so we can all.
Yeah, there you go. Don't threaten me with a good time.
Yeah, I live not far from Harrisburg, so pretty much smack dab in the middle.
So, Stephen, let's talk a little bit about your pattern from the day. What were you doing to catch your limit?
So early on, I think historically, I've mentioned this before on previous shows, I have a bad habit of defaulting to finesse too quickly. I think, I do a lot of creek wading and I'm fishing bodies of water that are a foot deep or less. So sometimes just to get a limit, I default to finesse. But this trip I went out and I was like, I'm going to pound the chatterbait. I'm going to toss that thing around. And I was catching them all morning long on a chatterbait. I think I had a limit by 8 or 8:30. They were definitely biting that, but I was catching a lot of those 14, 15 and a half inch fish. And I just wasn't getting anything bigger than that. But once the sun started to get high, much like the folks up in New York, we had a really warm day. I think when I launched, it was in the 40s. And by 9:30, 10 o'clock, it was in the low 80s. So there's like a huge temperature shift there. And it was really hot. So once the sun got high, I felt like the bass were going to maybe push up into the shade. There wasn't a lot of mid-river structure where I was, but there were overhanging trees. So I figured they were going to push up into that shade, and I made a shift to a Nico 4 1/4 inch Helgramite, tossing that up there in the shade, and they were smacking that. That's what I ended up catching my 19 and a half on, my 18 on. Started making some upgrades, 16 and a half here and there. But yeah, made that shift to finesse, and that changed the day a little bit. I went upstream and I'd hit faster current seams and things like that, and I'd still catch them on the chatterbait, but I just wasn't getting big fish on power fishing. It was all finesse for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that hits. I'm guilty of that same thing. I mean, we owe confidence is the best lure in your box, and I'm definitely guilty of just immediately jumping right to I got to get me a limit. So I'm immediately, throwing a finesse jig or a wacky worm or something like that, something I have a lot of confidence in that gets bites. But that early morning bite can sometimes, yield your biggest fish of the day. And, they won't fall victim to a finesse bait, but sometimes you can trick them with a power bait, like a chatterbait or a big spinner bait or a top water or something like that. So, Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely guilty of that. It's nice to actually hear someone else say they do the same thing I do, because I'm like, man, am I an idiot? Am I the only idiot that is out here just with a fairy wand, just like dabbing around and But no, apparently not. There's two of us idiots out there doing things,
Yeah.
Steven. So thank you for making me feel good about myself.
I have the opposite problem. I've never really had a problem getting a limit. I'll just get a limit of 15s and then can't catch it bigger. But I have friends who will go out there and they're going to throw a choppo or a buzz bait or a chatter bait or something. Come hell or high water, they're either going to catch one or a ton of bigs, and they don't care. But yeah, for whatever reason, I default to finesse pretty quickly. But it worked out this time. It was the opposite problem. I was catching my bigs on finesse. Heck
yeah. Well, you definitely got it done. With some tight fishing, and a good win. Anytime that, you can beat out anglers from literally across the country, you're doing pretty good in a one-day shootout. Looks like you called out several fish there.
Did Jason freeze up, or is that me?
I don't know. Am I talking now?
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, still in. Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me, Steven?
Yep, I can hear you. Steven?
I think Steven froze.
No.
I seen him blink.
Oh, there. I saw a little mouth movement. It was like, looked like, yeah. But yeah, he had a solid limit, and you can see, if you look at the two of us here, up and down, if you start with that fifth, fourth, and third fish, it's like, oh, advantage Jason. And then, those two kickers for him, the 18 and 19 and a half, especially, that was the nail in the coffin for me, for sure, that I could not overcome.
Right.
I just did not see a fish that caliber, and that 19 and a half was also big fish for the event. So Steven is also our big fish champion for this event on the Jackson Kayak tournament.
Actually, no. That was nope. Daniel McKee landed.
He had a 19 3/4.
9 3/4. Yeah,
he did. I remember seeing that at the end of the day. Yeah. So sorry, I gave the flowers to Steven. I'm gonna knock him out of your hand like an angry bridesmaid and give him.
All right.
You're gonna have to share some of that folding money. With I would love to know where he was fishing too. He's a Tennessee guy.
He's from Tennessee. I'm not sure. He's up northeast Tennessee, I believe.
Okay, not too.
But I don't. I have to look. I could look and tell you where he's fishing, but that would be inappropriate at the moment.
Yeah, can I know the exact GPS coordinates for?
No, you cannot. But no, it was a good tournament, and like I said, it is good to see everybody in this one catching fish. It's always good to see when you've got everybody in the event hooked up, landed some fish. Obviously, thanks to you guys for signing up, fishing this event, and keeping it fun. It's a good little team bragging rights, if you will, between team members of Jackson Kayak to see you guys get out there, talk a little smack as Rudy and Jason are, and finish second, third, and get beat.
You're more than welcome to join the good side, Steven, and poke fun at Rudy all you want. It's I'm always taking applications. The team has no limit, and we're always looking to beat up on old Rudy anytime we can get the opportunity to, for sure. What kind of Jackson are you fishing out of? I saw you took your drive out, probably for the shallow water and some weight saving capabilities. But what kind of boat are you fishing out of?
I think I lost audio there for a second, but if you can hear me, I'm fishing out of a Coosa FD.
Oh, nice, cool.
It's a good boat. It's a good river boat. How are you liking it so far this year? This is your first year in the Coosa FD, right? I think I lost him, or he lost me.
I think he lost.
That happens. Welcome to the product of a live show, folks. This is called doing it live. So yeah, you're always going to have these kinds of issues on the live stream. I mean, Wi-Fi cuts in and out. It's raining here. It's raining there. You just never know what you're going to get into. So that's part of the Jackson Kayak Award Show. Yes, it is 100% live, and that's why sometimes we look like idiots.
Yeah, we are not AI. We are real screw ups in real life. That's what we do.
For real screw ups in real life. That is product of a live show. We can't help it. So yeah, we do incur technical difficulties sometimes. So thank you guys that have stayed watching this thing and enjoy it with us. But well, Stephen, Jason, let's bring on back on Mark Chase. Boom, ba-dum. So guys, I'm gonna let you go first, Mark. Man, thank the people that you need to thank and tell the folks at home where to learn more about you on social media, bud.
All right. Well, I thank friends and family for being supportive. Of course, my girlfriend for letting me fish anytime I want. I'm retired. I fish a lot, so I appreciate her very much. You can find me on Facebook, Mark Chase, Instagram, Mark Chasing Fish, and I just started a YouTube channel, Mark Chasing Fish.
Nice. Looking
And
forward to the tubes.
Andy and his friend started the Adirondack Rod and Tackle. I'm not part of their team also, so I want to thank him also for letting me be part of that.
Oh, nice. Shout out
Yeah.
Andy on that one.
Yep. He is a
Steven.
good guy.
Yeah, just want to thank my wife Abby and my kids Mason and Mia. My son keeps asking me to come out on my kayak. I'm like, I'm a big boy. I don't know if it can handle both of us. I'm gonna have to get a take two to get us both out there, I think. But yeah, just shout out to everyone who helps me stay on the water. Dakota Lithium, Newport Vessels, Nico helped me win this tournament for sure. So yeah, thanks to everyone.
Heck yeah, man.
You
Congratulations.
can find me
that
on
big thing.
Everyman Angling on Instagram, YouTube, all your social media.
Yeah, he puts out some really good content. I started following along. Definitely some good photos. The attention to detail. Very nice.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yes, everything looks great, man. Well, guys, we're gonna hide you guys back down below. We appreciate you being here. We appreciate you fishing with us this week. And yeah, Jason and I are gonna wrap this thing up, put a bow on it, and kick it to the curb. So we'll be right back with you. There you got it, man. Another week, another set of bassin. More bassin in the house.
I love it. I love getting out there and then coming back here after a good weekend talking about fish. It's just a beautiful way to live, Chad. It's good out here in the hood to be fishing. So you got derb coming up. You got two this week up in Indiana. You got your small lake weeknighter or weeknight's not a small lake. It's anywhere.
Nope, it's just an open free for all on whatever kind of water you can fish close to work or at home or however, just as long as it's in the state of Indiana. So we're going to do that on Thursday, and that'll kind of kick off our USA Bassin weekend. Then, like I said, we got the Susky at Upper Chesapeake on Saturday, along with the Hoosier Division on Raccoon Lake Saturday. Then Sunday, we're going to turn around the Eastern Shore boys. Andy and his crew, they are at Trap and Trussum Ponds for that event. And then the Saranac Chain back up in New York on Sunday for Paradox Lake. So, hey, plenty of events to fish. And then I think we've got a Wednesday nighter coming up in New York. So let me double check that while I'm thinking about it.
Heck yeah, man.
I was wrong. The first Wednesday nighter is actually this week. I missed one. So the first Wednesday night shuffle, as Wild Bill likes to call it, kicking off in New York this Wednesday night. So yeah, Wednesday kicks off the thing. We're gonna go Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday this week.
Okay, so if you thought there was a shortage of kayak fishing opportunities, you've been wrong, because here we go, baby. We got them all lined up from the rooter to the tutor.
Yeah, we're gonna have we may have a couple USA Bassin Kayak Award shows next week just to cover the basis on all 6 of these tournaments. So
yeah, and stay tuned. That
sounds like the most logical thing to do.
Stay tuned. I know Monday is a holiday.
We won't be here Monday next week.
Yeah, so stay tuned to the socials. Chad will inform everybody the when, where, who's, what, hows of the USA Bassin Kayak Awards show. But you can guarantee we're going to be back because we're going to have a lot to talk about. Many
Yeah.
opportunities to talk about fishing. So
Tons to talk about. We're not going to make anybody come hang out with us on a Monday holiday. So we will we'll definitely be back in touch probably around Tuesday, I'm thinking. But yeah.
Yeah, want to thank
Way
everybody
more
for tuning in. I seen old Canada tuning in, Spice of
Mhm.
Minnesota,
Wyatt,
Roberto,
Marcus,
man,
Yeah.
Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, Texas.
more
Man,
Cassidys. We got more Cassidys in the house.
Yeah, the OG. And shout out again. I know I gave him his flowers earlier, but Jerry Cassidy, I know he's watching. He watches every show on the big screen up there in Spicer, Minnesota, with his old lady, and him and the chickens and everybody nice up there up in Minnesota gets their Bassin fill every Monday. So I appreciate him and his support. That's my sponsor for tonight's second place finish is Mr. Jerry Cassidy. Thank you, sir.
There you go. I was thinking it was going to be me, but okay.
Thank you for the lid, Chad. It looks really nice.
and hey, I think there's only one way to end this. Let's go
Put a
racing.
bow on it. Let's go.
Let's go racing. Let's go racing. Make sure you get out there and watch that Indy 500. We need you.
Yeah, check
Good
the
night,
flags,
everybody.
baby.
We'll see you.